12 Black actors who are gay then and now 2026. What if some of the most influential Black stars in entertainment history spent years hiding parts of themselves just to survive? Hollywood, behind the awards, red carpets, hit songs, and television fame were personal battles most fans never saw. From Billy Porter breaking barriers on national television to Frank Ocean rewriting the rules of modern music, these celebrities challenged an industry that once punished people for being different. Some became icons, others faced backlash, controversy, and painful public scrutiny simply for living openly. In today's video, we uncover the emotional journeys, struggles, and triumphs of Black LGBT stars who changed entertainment forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which celebrity story shocked or inspired you the most. Welcome back to Remembered Lives channel. Billy Porter. Billy Porter spent decades fighting for visibility in an industry that often told Black gay performers to stay silent, hide who they were, or accept smaller role. Born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in 1969, Porter grew up in a strict religious environment where being different could bring rejection and judgment. From an early age, however, he understood that music and performance were not simply hobbies for him, they were survival. His powerful voice and theatrical presence eventually earned him admission to Carnegie Mellon University, one of America's most respected performing arts schools, but success in Hollywood would not come quickly. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Porter worked steadily on Broadway and in theater productions, gaining respect within entertainment circles while still struggling to achieve mainstream recognition. He won a Tony Award for his role in Kinky Boots in 2013, but even after that success, many studios still viewed openly gay Black actors as risky investments. Porter later admitted that Hollywood often placed limitations on him because of both his race and sexuality. Everything changed with the television series Pose. Playing Pray Tell, Porter delivered one of the most emotionally powerful performances on television, portraying the pain, resilience, and humanity of Black LGBTQ communities during the AIDS crisis era. In 2019, he became the first openly gay Black man to win the Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. The moment became historic not only for Porter but for countless viewers who had rarely seen someone like themselves represented at that level. Outside acting, Porter became equally known for challenging fashion norms. His red carpet appearances regularly sparked headlines because he refused to conform to traditional expectations of masculinity. Yet behind the bold public image was someone who had quietly battled HIV since 2007, a diagnosis he kept private for years due to fear and stigma. Today, Billy Porter is viewed as more than an actor or singer. He represents perseverance, authenticity, and visibility for people who spent years feeling unseen. His journey proves that success becomes even more powerful when someone refuses to hide who they truly are. Raven-Symoné. For millions of people who grew up during the 1990s and early 2000s, Raven-Symoné was one of the most recognizable young stars on television. Born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1985, Raven entered entertainment at an extremely young age, beginning as a child model before landing her breakout role on The Cosby Show. Even as a child, she possessed remarkable confidence, comedic timing, and charisma that immediately separated her from other young performers. As she grew older, Raven successfully transitioned from child star into one of Disney Channel's biggest names through the hit series That's So Raven. At its peak, the show became one of Disney's highest-rated programs and turned Raven into a household name worldwide. Her ability to balance physical comedy, emotional moments, and sharp humor made her especially popular among young audiences. Unlike many child stars who disappeared after early fame, Raven managed to remain relevant across multiple generations. Behind the scenes, however, navigating fame was far more complicated than it appeared publicly. Growing up in Hollywood placed enormous pressure on Raven from a young age, especially as conversations around identity and sexuality became more public. For years, rumors surrounded her personal life, but she largely avoided discussing relationships openly during the height of her Disney career. Many observers believed industry expectations and public scrutiny made openness difficult for young Black celebrities during that era. In 2013, Raven publicly acknowledged her same-sex relationship after years of speculation, later speaking more openly about her identity and experiences. While some fans celebrated her honesty, others criticized or misunderstood her comments about labels and identity. Raven often explained that she preferred not to place herself inside strict categories, choosing instead to focus on authenticity and personal freedom. Despite years of media pressure, she continued building a long-lasting career through television hosting, acting, music, and producing. In recent years, Raven has also spoken candidly about childhood fame, mental health struggles, and the emotional impact of growing up under constant public attention. Today, Raven Simone remains one of the few Black child stars who successfully evolved into adulthood while maintaining a lasting entertainment career. Her story reflects both the opportunities and emotional challenges that come with growing up famous, while trying to discover who you truly are under the spotlight. Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo spent years proving that true talent does not always arrive through overnight fame. Born in Philadelphia in 1969, Domingo originally dreamed of working in journalism, before discovering acting almost by accident during college. What followed was a long and difficult journey through theater, independent films, and small television roles, before Hollywood finally recognized the depth of his talent. Unlike many actors who rise quickly through celebrity culture, Domingo built his reputation slowly through discipline, intelligence, and emotional authenticity. For years, he became highly respected within Broadway and theater communities, especially for his ability to portray emotionally layered characters with remarkable subtlety. Yet mainstream audiences did not fully recognize his brilliance until roles in productions such as Fear the Walking Dead, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and especially Rustin, where he portrayed civil rights strategist Bayard Rustin. The performance earned Domingo widespread acclaim and eventually an Academy Award nomination, making him one of the few openly gay Black actors to reach that level of recognition in Hollywood history. What makes Colman Domingo unique is the dignity and calmness he brings to every role. Whether portraying fathers, activists, survivors, or deeply flawed men, he avoids exaggerated performance and instead focuses on emotional truth. Viewers, especially older audiences, often connect with him because his acting feels grounded and human rather than theatrical. Outside acting, Domingo has spoken openly about being a gay, Black man navigating an entertainment industry that historically marginalized both race and sexuality. Rather than allowing those barriers to define him, he continued building a career based on consistency and artistic excellence. His long-term relationship and eventual marriage also became a symbol of stability and quiet resilience in an industry often associated with chaos and scandal. Today, Colman Domingo is viewed as one of the most respected actors of his generation. His rise to prominence later in life resonates deeply with many people because it proves success does not always belong to the youngest or loudest voices. Sometimes it belongs to those who quietly refuse to give up even when recognition takes decades to arrive. Laverne Cox. Laverne Cox became a groundbreaking figure in entertainment history by accomplishing something Hollywood rarely allowed for transgender performers: visibility with dignity. Born in Mobile, Alabama in 1972, Cox grew up in a deeply conservative environment where being different often brought isolation and pain. From an early age, she struggled with bullying, rejection, and confusion surrounding identity, experiences that later shaped both her activism and her career. Before fame arrived, Cox spent years studying dance and acting while trying to survive inside an entertainment industry that offered almost no opportunities for openly transgender women, especially Black transgender women. For decades, trans characters in film and television were often reduced to jokes, stereotypes, or tragedy. Cox understood those barriers intimately, yet she refused to disappear quietly. Everything changed with the Netflix series Orange is the New Black, where she portrayed Sophia Bourse, a transgender woman, navigating prison life while trying to maintain dignity and connection with her family. The role immediately resonated with audiences because Cox brought humanity, warmth, vulnerability, and realism to a character type television had historically mishandled. In 2014, she became the first openly transgender person nominated for a Primetime Emmy Award in an acting category, marking a historic moment in television history. Beyond acting, Laverne Cox became one of the most visible advocates for transgender rights in America. She frequently used interviews, documentaries, and public appearances to discuss discrimination, violence, mental health, and representation affecting transgender communities. Yet what made her especially impactful was her ability to speak about painful subjects with intelligence, compassion, and grace rather than anger alone. Despite public admiration, Cox also faced criticism, harassment, and intense media scrutiny throughout her career. Still, she continued using her platform to encourage visibility and self-acceptance for people who often felt unseen by society. Today, Laverne Cox represents far more than celebrity status. She symbolizes perseverance in the face of rejection and fear. Her success opened doors for future transgender performers while also challenging mainstream audiences to rethink how identity, humanity, and representation are portrayed on screen. Wanda Sykes. Wanda Sykes built her career on fearless honesty long before Hollywood became comfortable discussing sexuality, race, and identity openly. Born in Virginia in 1964, Sykes originally worked for the National Security Agency before realizing her true passion was comedy. Leaving behind a stable government career to pursue stand-up was an enormous risk, but her sharp wit and fearless storytelling quickly made her stand out in comedy clubs during the late 1980s and early 1990s. Unlike many comedians, who relied on shock value alone, Wanda Sykes developed a style rooted in intelligent sarcasm and brutally honest social commentary. Her ability to joke about politics, relationships, racism, aging, and family life made audiences laugh, while also forcing them to think. By the late 1990s, she had become a major writer and performer on The Chris Rock Show, earning an Emmy Award and gaining respect throughout the entertainment industry. For years, however, Sykes kept much of her personal life private. In 2008, during a period when public conversations around same-sex marriage were becoming increasingly heated in America, she officially came out as gay at a political rally opposing California's Proposition 8. The moment became historic because few black female comedians of her generation had openly discussed their sexuality so publicly at that time. Rather than allowing criticism to silence her, Sykes continued speaking openly about marriage, parenting, politics, and LGBT rights through stand-up specials, television appearances, and interviews. Her honesty resonated strongly with audiences who admired her refusal to hide who she was despite industry pressure and public judgment. Beyond comedy, Wanda built a successful acting career with roles in television series, animated films, and sitcoms while balancing motherhood and activism. Even as entertainment trends constantly changed, she remained relevant because her humor felt authentic rather than manufactured. Today, Wanda Sykes is viewed not only as one of America's funniest comedians, but also as a trailblazer who helped normalize conversations around sexuality and identity inside black entertainment spaces. Her journey proves that authenticity, even when controversial, often creates the deepest connection with audiences over time. Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean transformed modern R&B by doing something many male artists in the genre once avoided: openly embracing vulnerability. Born in California in 1987 and raised largely in New Orleans, Ocean developed a deep love for music while growing up around church sounds, Southern culture, and emotional storytelling. After Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, he relocated to Los Angeles and quietly began writing songs behind the scenes for major artists before eventually stepping into the spotlight himself. His breakthrough arrived with the mixtape Nostalgia Ultra, and later the critically acclaimed album Channel Orange, projects that introduced audiences to a completely different kind of R&B artist. Frank Ocean's music focused heavily on loneliness, heartbreak, desire, memory, and emotional confusion, often delivered through soft vocals and deeply personal lyrics, rather than flashy production or aggressive masculinity. In 2012, before releasing Channel Orange, Ocean published a personal letter revealing that his first love had been a man. At the time, openly discussing same-sex love remained extremely uncommon among black male artists in mainstream R&B and hip-hop culture. The announcement shocked many people, but also earned enormous respect for its honesty and emotional maturity. Despite global fame, Ocean avoided celebrity culture whenever possible. He rarely gave interviews, stayed away from constant media attention, and allowed his music to remain the center of public focus. Albums like Blonde later cemented his reputation as one of the most influential artists of his generation. Behind the success, however, Ocean also experienced profound personal grief. especially following the tragic death of his younger brother in 2020. Fans noticed a growing emotional heaviness surrounding his public appearances and creative work afterward. Today, Frank Ocean remains one of music's most mysterious yet admired figures. His influence reaches beyond sexuality or fame because he helped redefine emotional openness for an entire generation of artists and listeners alike. Niecy Nash. Niecy Nash built her career by making people laugh. But behind the humor was a woman who spent years learning how to rediscover herself. Born in California in 1970, Nash entered entertainment through comedy and television, hosting quickly becoming known for her warm personality, natural charisma, and relatable energy. Audiences connected with her because she never seemed artificial or overly polished. She felt like someone viewers genuinely knew. Her breakthrough arrived with comedy projects such as Reno 911, where her sharp timing and unforgettable screen presence made her one of the show's standout performers. Over the years, Nash steadily evolved beyond comedy, proving she could handle emotionally demanding dramatic roles just as powerfully. Performances in When They See Us and Dahmer Monster. The Jeffrey Dahmer story earned widespread praise and revealed a deeper emotional intensity many audiences had never fully seen before. For much of her public life, Nash appeared to follow a traditional path through marriage and family life. That image shifted dramatically in 2020 when she announced her marriage to singer Jessica Betts. The revelation surprised many fans, especially older audiences who had followed her career for decades. Rather than presenting the relationship as political or controversial, Nash spoke about it in deeply personal terms, explaining that she had simply found peace, love, and emotional fulfillment. Her honesty resonated strongly because it reflected a reality many people understand privately: that self-discovery does not stop with age, success, or public expectations. Nash openly discussed healing, heartbreak, divorce, and emotional growth in ways that felt sincere rather than performative. Today, Niecy Nash represents reinvention and emotional courage. She proved it is possible to evolve publicly without losing dignity or authenticity. For many viewers, especially middle-aged audiences, her journey feels inspiring because it reminds them that happiness sometimes arrives later in life, often when people least expect it. Lena Waithe. Lena Waithe changed Hollywood not by trying to fit into the industry's traditional image but by refusing to. Born in Chicago in 1984, Waithe grew up loving television and storytelling, while rarely seeing people who looked or lived like her represented honestly on screen. As a black lesbian woman with a masculine presenting style, she understood early how invisible certain communities remained inside mainstream entertainment. Before becoming famous, Waithe spent years writing scripts and working behind the scenes, determined to create stories centered on real black experiences rather than stereotypes. Her major breakthrough came through the Netflix series Master of None, where her episode Thanksgiving drew widespread acclaim for its emotional portrayal of coming out within a black family. In 2017, Waithe became the first black woman to win the Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing for a Comedy Series, a historic moment that transformed her into one of Hollywood's most influential creative voices. What made Lena Waithe especially important was her commitment to authenticity. She consistently pushed for black LGBTQ characters to appear as fully human people with complicated lives, families, relationships, and ambitions rather than side characters or cliches. Through projects like The Chi Queen and Slim and multiple production deals, she helped create opportunities for other underrepresented artists in film and television. Beyond her work, Waithe became known for openly discussing identity, race, sexuality, and representation, without trying to make herself more comfortable for mainstream audiences. Her confidence and visibility inspired many viewers who rarely saw openly queer black women holding powerful positions in Hollywood. Although fame brought criticism and public scrutiny, Waithe continued building a career centered around storytelling with emotional honesty and cultural depth. Today, she is recognized not only as a writer and actress, but also as a major force helping reshape modern black television and film. Her journey proves representation becomes most powerful when people finally control their own narratives instead of allowing others to define them. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X became one of the most talked about artists of his generation by challenging expectations in ways the music industry had rarely seen before. Born in Georgia in 1999 and raised largely in Atlanta, He spent much of his early life feeling like an outsider. Before fame arrived, he lived quietly, used social media heavily, and struggled to find direction while trying to build a future through internet culture and music. Everything changed in 2019 when Old Town Road exploded online and eventually became one of the biggest songs in modern music history. Blending country influences with rap production, the song broke streaming records and remained #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 19 consecutive weeks, longer than any song before it at the time. Yet behind the viral success, Lil Nas X understood that fame alone would not protect him from criticism. Soon after the song's rise, he publicly came out as gay, becoming one of the few openly gay black male artists dominating mainstream rap culture. The announcement sparked enormous debate because hip-hop historically struggled with homophobia and rigid ideas surrounding masculinity. While some critics attacked him openly, many younger fans praised his confidence and refusal to hide his identity. What separated Lil Nas X from many celebrities was his willingness to confront controversy directly through humor, fashion, music videos, and social media. He often used satire and bold imagery to challenge public discomfort surrounding sexuality, religion, and gender expectations. Songs like Montero Call Me By Your Name became cultural flashpoints because they intentionally forced audiences to react. Despite constant online criticism, Lil Nas X continued embracing vulnerability beneath the provocative image. He frequently spoke about loneliness, mental pressure, and the emotional difficulty of growing up feeling different in conservative environments. Today, Lil Nas X represents a major cultural shift inside modern entertainment. Whether admired or criticized, he forced conversations many industries tried avoiding for decades. His rise proved that younger audiences increasingly value honesty, individuality, and self-expression over outdated expectations about identity and masculinity. RuPaul became one of the most recognizable LGBTQ entertainers in the world by transforming drag culture from underground nightlife into mainstream global entertainment. Born in California in 1960 and raised partly in Atlanta, RuPaul grew up during a time when openly expressing gender nonconformity often brought ridicule, rejection, and isolation. Yet even from a young age, he possessed extraordinary confidence and a larger-than-life personality that refused to disappear quietly. Before fame arrived, RuPaul spent years struggling through club performances, underground music scenes, and low-budget artistic projects during the 1980s. At the time, drag performers were rarely treated seriously by mainstream media, especially black drag artists. But everything changed in the early 1990s when the song Supermodel You Better Work became a worldwide hit. With towering wigs, glamorous fashion, and unforgettable charisma, RuPaul suddenly broke barriers many believed impossible for drag entertainers. What made RuPaul especially influential was not simply the success itself, but the way he transformed public perception. Through television appearances, music, comedy, and eventually RuPaul's Drag Race, he introduced drag culture to millions of viewers who had never previously understood it. The show later became a massive international franchise and helped launch the careers of countless LGBTQ performers around the world. Despite criticism from both conservative audiences and parts of the LGBTQ community, RuPaul remained focused on visibility, self-expression, and personal freedom. Behind the glamorous image, he often spoke openly about loneliness, racism, addiction struggles within entertainment culture, and the emotional cost of surviving as an outsider. Today, RuPaul is viewed as far more than a television personality. He became a cultural symbol of resilience and individuality for generations of people who grew up feeling rejected or misunderstood. His journey proved that authenticity, even when controversial, can eventually change mainstream culture itself. Jussie Smollett experienced one of the most dramatic rises and falls in modern entertainment history. Born in California in 1982, Smollett entered show business as a child actor alongside his siblings before gradually rebuilding his career as an adult. For years, he worked steadily in television and music while trying to establish himself in an industry that often offered limited opportunities for openly gay black actors. His biggest breakthrough came through the hit television series Empire, where he portrayed Jamal Lyon, a talented singer navigating fame, family pressure, and sexuality inside the music industry. The role resonated strongly with audiences because Jamal's storyline explored issues rarely discussed openly on major network television, especially within Black entertainment spaces. Smollett's performance helped make him one of the show's most recognizable stars during its peak popularity. Beyond acting, he also pursued music and became increasingly vocal about race, LGBT rights, and social justice issues. Many supporters viewed him as an important symbol of representation during a period when conversations around identity and visibility were becoming more public across America. However, everything changed dramatically in 2019 after Smollett reported being the victim of a violent hate crime in Chicago. The story initially sparked widespread sympathy and outrage, but after a lengthy investigation, police accused him of staging the attack himself. The scandal quickly dominated national headlines and severely damaged both his reputation and career. Legal battles, public debates, and divided opinions followed for years afterward. Even today, reactions to Jussie Smollett remain deeply polarized. Some former supporters felt betrayed by the controversy, while others argued the media coverage became excessive and permanently overshadowed his earlier achievements as an actor and advocate. Regardless of public opinion, Smollett's story became one of Hollywood's most cautionary modern narratives, a reminder of how quickly fame, trust, and public image can collapse under controversy. His rise once symbolized progress in representation, while his downfall revealed how fragile celebrity status can become in the age of non-stop media attention. Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe built her career by refusing to fit inside traditional expectations of gender, music, fashion, or identity. Born in Kansas in 1985 and raised in a working-class family, Monáe grew up surrounded by economic hardship while dreaming of becoming an entertainer. Inspired by science fiction, classic soul music, and artistic individuality, she developed a creative style unlike anyone else in mainstream entertainment. Early in her career, Monáe attracted attention not only for her music, but also for her striking black and white fashion image and futuristic storytelling. Albums such as The Archandroid and Dirty Computer blended R&B, funk, soul, hip-hop, and science fiction themes into something deeply original. Critics praised her for creating music that felt intellectually ambitious while still emotionally accessible. What truly separated Janelle Monáe from many celebrities was her openness about identity and self-expression. Over the years, she publicly discussed being attracted to both men and women and later identified with pansexuality and non-binary experiences. Rather than presenting labels as fixed definitions, Monáe often described identity as fluid, personal, and constantly evolving. Her honesty resonated strongly with younger audiences and people who had long felt constrained by traditional social expectation. At the same time, some older viewers found her bold artistic choices controversial or difficult to understand. Yet Monáe never softened her message simply to make mainstream audiences comfortable. Beyond music, she successfully expanded into acting with critically praised performances in films such as Hidden Figures, Moonlight, and Glass Onion. Her ability to move between music, film, activism, and fashion helped establish her as one of the most creatively versatile entertainers of her generation. Today, Janelle Monáe represents artistic freedom and fearless individuality. Her career reflects a broader cultural shift where younger artists increasingly reject rigid definitions surrounding gender, sexuality, and identity. Whether through music, film, or public activism, she continues encouraging audiences to embrace authenticity rather than hiding parts of themselves to satisfy society's expectations. From Billy Porter breaking barriers on television to Frank Ocean redefining vulnerability in music, and RuPaul turning drag culture into a global phenomenon, these stars changed entertainment forever by refusing to hide who they truly were. Some faced rejection, controversy, and public criticism, while others inspired millions simply by living openly in industries that once demanded silence. But here's the question that continues dividing fans today: which Black LGBTQ celebrity had the biggest impact on modern entertainment and culture, and who showed the greatest courage during the hardest times? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy emotional celebrity stories, hidden struggles, and unforgettable entertainment history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us here on Remembered Lives channel for more powerful journeys through fame, identity, and legacy.